So because this technology is starting to become practical for use in commercial applications, there are a number of companies that are getting interested in it. These types of cameras, like the one we have here, this is purchased from a company called Mesa Imaging, who are in Switzerland. We also have sensors from a company called PMD Tech that are in Germany, and also some cameras from a company called Canesta, who are in the US. So these companies are working with people who build consumer equipment, and also for some industrial purposes as well, to try and bring this technology and take it into the marketplace. So we find that it's an interesting situation, because a lot of the science that we're doing, we interact a lot with companies instead of other research groups. There are of course some research groups around the world doing this, but we do tend to interact with the companies and manufacturers of this technology, because our research is all about improving the quality of these cameras. We did early on, we did actually start to build some cameras, but very quickly the commercial guys with more resource, commercial entities with more resources caught up with us with the building, and they can build the cameras much better. But because we built our cameras from a scientific point of view, instead of a commercial point of view, our first camera was, it's still probably one of the most precise and high quality cameras in the world, but it's very big, and it needs 7,000 volts, and it's very expensive, so it's not really useful in a commercial sense. But what we learned from that is the techniques on how to build a very good quality camera, and we're starting to take some of those techniques and put them into these commercial cameras. We can try and improve the quality. One thing I can show here is if I extend this out, and we can see myself and the background, but we can also see a bunch of points in here that look like they're not supposed to be here, and that's on the edges of objects. We can see that the edge of an object is blurring with the edge of an object here, and these points are not supposed to be here. If I move my head a little bit, then they kind of go away, but when I keep my head still, there are these what some people call flying pixels, but we call them mixed pixels in here, and this is a camera getting it wrong. Basically, it's getting the measurement wrong, and we have technologies to remove these incorrect pixels and find the correct data from them. And it's just things like that we're generating intellectual property that we're hoping to get into some of these commercial cameras. Particularly in New Zealand at the moment, it's, government research funding is very competitive, and it's quite hard to get it. But when we have an application that is directly related to a commercial use, then we can get some commercial funding to solve some specific problems, especially if a particular manufacturer has a particular application in mind and they've got a particular problem that needs solving. The camera is working pretty well, but it's got one particular problem that's really holding up their development process. Then that's the time when we can come in and possibly get some funding from these commercial companies to try and solve the particular problems using the expertise that we have. A lot of contacts we make are just through networking, and one particular one was where I have one student who got a Fulbright fellowship to spend a year in the US, and he had organised to go to a company to do his work, and it was almost set, except then the US export control laws came into play, and it turns out that he couldn't actually go to that company at all. So that company suggested he go to another company, and the student actually visited there, and that actually really started to build a foundation for a relationship, and we started working quite closely with this company. They're interested in some of the technologies, and we've had other students visit now, and they've provided some funding for travel and helping with accommodation for the students, and we've had students stay there for a number of weeks doing work with the company. Yes, we have one of my postdocs is now working with one of these companies, and I also have another student who was awarded a Fulbright fellowship, and he's also in the US at the moment.